Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Where's this? Oh,
Yeah, we have a whole concept here tonight.
that's wonderful. But this is direct audio.
Teach world history and philosophy.
Step by step. Where would you like me to be there? You're done. Hopefully it helps that, we're supposed to be more like facilitators than start. We're all a common biblical.
School back in session this
Praise God using technologies and teaching guidance.
There's a lot more. Imagine they make those different pulls and pushes from different forces. There's, well, you have to worry about behavioralists. You have to worry about
Never worked this before.
sorry. Sorry. But,
Sure.
slowly
It's good.
lost class. Popular. I never got the opportunity to serve in high school. So I have a class in philosophy. That's important. Critical thinking is so culture, economics, economics, whatever access to good. And so we'll do it through media, right? Talk about what is art, talk about things like that. Things are relevant. Things are relevant. Also get some more. So you get to do this, so they come in. So they get it. So then I won't like, go like, no, just get them sent to you. They didn't want to think about when they're actual reality. They didn't. What? Just specific philosophers or philosophers? Well,
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We begin on page 9 in our Sidurim. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if we were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. Together, on Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and the better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We continue on page 10 with Hine Matov.
Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
We turn back in our Siddur to page 2, and we welcome Susan and Richard Glaser to come forward to light Shabbos candles for us.
And Sebastian has asked me to read a beautiful prayer, a prayer before the candle lighting, a blessing of gratitude for a life lived with friends, family, and partners of many genders and sexual orientation from the Mishkan Ava. Creator of light, source of wisdom, you know the depth of the human soul. As you filled this world with the glances of your presence, so let me fill my world with the calm wisdom that love does not ask what, but instead asks who. May we, as we watch the two flames of memory and practice enlighten this space, remember all parts of our stories and make space for all that we are. Creator of light, source of wisdom, may your light fill every inch of our bodies and may it exceed all forms. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu yotzer ha'olam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, creator of the universe, who created me in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
I continue with a text from the same Siddur which Mindy read from, Mishkan Ga'ava. This is an additional reading for Lahadodi. Come, my beloved, to welcome Shabbat. Come, my beloved, we say to Shabbat. We turn and welcome her in. Sometimes we compare her to a bride, sometimes to a queen. Every time we compare her to a woman and ourselves to her male counterpart, waiting for her to arrive. Awaken, awaken, be present, be proud, be here. At Sinai, we remember that God said, I told Shabbat that the community of Israel is her mate. She keeps us holy, she keeps us warm, she keeps us safe. She reminds us that each of us are her promised. Every Friday night we say, come, my beloved, and she responds, I have been here all along. I have shown you how to love in whatever way you do. We continue with the words of L'Hadodi on page 20, singing verses 1, 2, and 5, and rising for verse 9.
Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmianu el ham yuchad, Adonai echad, ushmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet ve'litila, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lehu v'nelcha ki hi mikor chabracha merosh mekedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava chtila lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri, shir taberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigila, lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha u'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated. We continue on page 24, and we read responsively. Praise be to you, O ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing.
Enter in peace, O
Messenger of peace, angels of the Most High, majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Bless me with peace, O messenger of peace, angels of the Most High, majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Depart in peace, messenger of peace, angels of the Most High, majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. We continue on the footnote on page 25. And so we understand that ordinary people are messengers of the Most High. They go about their task in holy anonymity, often unknown to themselves. Yet if they had not been there, if they had not said or did what they did, it would not be the way it is now. We would not be the way we are now. Never forget that you, too, yourself may be a messenger, perhaps even one whose errand extends over several lifetimes. We continue on page 27. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on the ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to hope, to know, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We rise together for the call to prayer and turn to the following page, page 28.
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch hu et Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed.
O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desires be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal your glory and joy of your presence. We turn to page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose name I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We continue on the following page with the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Amen. We turn to page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. We turn to the following page for Micha Moha.
Yai lai 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 lai. Ya la lai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 la lai 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 lai. Ya la lai la lai 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 lai. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, malechutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Ya la lai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 la lai 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 lai. Ya la lai la lai 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 lai.
Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We turn to page 44. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat, la'asot et hashabat l'doratam berit olam. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat through the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. We are the people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We rise together, if you are able, for the Amidah, which begins on page 46.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Svatai Tifta. Na 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Svatai Tifta. Na 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 ufiagi ufiagi tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasei Avot v'imachot, Umevi Gula livnei v'nechem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'choshia, Morid hatah, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Micha mocha bal gevurot, Umidol melach, Melech meimihi tu mechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh ukdoshim b'chol yom yechalelu chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Where might I go to find you, exalted hidden one? Yet where would I not go to find you, ever-present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you, please draw near to me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who find hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue in silent prayer with the text on the page through page 62, or with the words in your heart. We will continue together on page 60 after our silent prayer with Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol Shalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol Shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We conclude our Amidah on page 62. Yihiyu leratzon imrifi v'hio libi lefanecha Adonai zuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom biramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. May the one who makes peace in high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel and all who inhabit the earth. Amen. And I add that may those who struggle in our community and in Hawaii and in every disaster that is happening, may they also find peace and healing. We continue with a very special guest who will be singing our prayer for healing today. And we'd like to invite you to share any names of individuals that you are thinking who may need that sense of healing. As I look around the room, please feel free to share those names aloud. Cora Robertson. We welcome Larry Lesser to lead us in our song of healing.
Body and soul, and may we not me alone. Yehiratzon, may it be your will that we yield. Not me alone. Yehiratzon. So I'm lucky to get to play one more song that relates to our Parsha. Tomorrow evening here at Temple is the kickoff event for this weekend's conference of the Society for Crypto-Judaic Studies. And one of the conference speakers, award-winning author Jeannie Milgram, talks about her ancestors' recipes passed down through 15 generations, respecting Jewish dietary laws by finding creative substitutions for pork and shellfish. One recipe was for chuletas that were made of French toast but looked like pork to avoid suspicion in the Spanish Inquisition. And so the kosher laws are also in this week's Parsha. Many of us think of Jewish laws as divided into ethical or ritual, where the ethical laws like do not steal, do not murder, make immediate intuitive sense, while ritual laws, such as the dietary laws, are called chukim, laws without rationale, beyond God said so. And so the first century philosopher, Philo of Alexandria, tried explaining them in an allegorical way, kind of like you are what you eat, and so to harmonize them with Greek philosophy. And that inspired this song called Kind. If I were a fish, what kind would I be? Would scales guard my integrity? Would my fins help me flee, or would I scavenge from the bottom of the sea? If I were a beast, what kind would I be? With split hooves or claws for feet? Would I wolf down food rapidly, or ruminate thoughtfully? If I were a bird, what kind would I be? A bird of prey like an eagle, or a gentle bird like a dove to rise above? Well, I am a human, I've come to see. What I take in becomes part of me. And I think of blood, I think of milk, I think of a mother and her ilk. So I'll face what's on my plate and think of the source, think of the fate. May awareness help me find how to be mindful, how to be kind. May awareness help me find how to be mindful and kind.
Thank you. We welcome Ellen Goodman next to join us with a few words of Torah.
Good evening. Every day, you get to make choices that don't put you in the center. Just a second. This is not it. Just a second. I hate to do this. I should have checked it. Well, it's here. Okay, let's start again. We are 1 full week away from the first day of Elul. Today is the 24th day of Av, and next Friday night there will be the first day of Elul, the last Hebrew month of the year. And let's take a wide turn into this next month. In this month, we take a look at our lives, our relationships, and take stock. If we have harmed anyone, we are obliged to go to them and ask for forgiveness. But I think before we do that, we really need to clear out our own houses, our own bodies, and our own thoughts. The month of Elul is a time to awaken and assess our lives. There is a tradition to hear the piercing sound of the shofar each day of the month to help shake ourselves into a new realization. This ancient sound sounds like the alarm clock for the soul, so you can't help but be moved by it. And the first verses of this week's portion are, "See, this day I set before you blessing and curse. Blessing if you obey the commandments of your God that I enjoin upon you this day, and curse if you do not obey the commandments of your God, but turn away from the path that I enjoin you upon this day, and follow other gods whom you have not experienced." What are these commandments that God urges us to do? We're going to the land that God had promised our forefathers and mothers. There are requirements that we must do in order to make this land our own. In chapter 12, verse 2, God is telling us to destroy all the sites at which the nations you are to dispossess worship their gods, whether on lofty mountains, on the hills, or under any luxuriant tree. Tear down their altars, smash their pillars, put their sacred posts to the fire, and cut down the images of their God, obliterating their names from the site. As this eventful summer began, I remember this summer as the 20th anniversary of fulfilling the requirements of the training I received at the HUC in the years 2022-2023 for the Shaliach Kehillah training. Thank you goes to Temple Mount Sinai and Phil Rothstein, who thought ahead and brought it to my attention. This training helped support this congregation when our rabbi was on sabbatical 20 years later and unavailable to lead the spiritual life of our congregation. This summer, I was involved in a Tefillah Teachers Fellowship, which met online for a couple of months in person and then in Durham, North Carolina for the weekend. Thanks goes to Mindy and to Temple Mount Sinai for putting this in front of me. This fellowship turned my mind upside down and inside out because we discussed how to teach tefillah or prayer to kids. And the way we did it was peeling away everything and finding the true essence. So I'm going to take you down that rabbit hole that I experienced this summer with this Parsha. Let's take a journey into our minds and think about the destruction of the land we are going into, especially of the sacred places of the people who inhabited this land before us. In Torah, we are told to destroy buildings and sacred places, places we can see and touch. Now, let's go a bit inwards and think about the things that we have accumulated over the past year, psychically and spiritually. What are the structures we have aligned with that no longer are for our best good? Can we let them go? Do we really need them? Let's do the foundational work. What needs to be smashed? Some of the foundations in our lives have been rotting away, like societal norms, the experience of being human in these times. Can we smash them, clear them away, and bring in better choices for our lives, both physically and spiritually? We need to learn how to realign ourselves, thinking what is good for our society, for our community. Don't push ourselves to the center of it all the time. Try putting the earth there. And rejoice that we are here together making good choices. Every day you get to make choices that don't put you in the center. That's brutal but wise. In this week's Torah portion, we are asked to see, to use our vision, to do for the benefit of all. Harsh portion, but when we align, there is joy from doing good. See the way your life matters. Take notice of what values, thoughts, and stories are guiding your actions. What emotions, expectations, experiences are shaping your words. What happens as you encounter difficulty and pain? How do you respond to joy? Now is the time to begin to turn, to bring offerings to each other with open hearts and open hands, to be aware of what you consume and what you are taking into your body, your psyche, and how and why and where you spend money. And practice joy. With eyes wide open, tall, that is, let joy find you. Let joy lift you. Let joy nourish your heart and inspire. Shabbat Shalom. Let's rise and turn to page 5 for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon himilanu zikaron l'maseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehillah l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'chata yotanu kidasha mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha da'ava uratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
Please remain standing and turn to page 282 for the Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula liotse bereshit, shelo asanu k'yayeh haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kachen, וגורלנו ככל המונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא,
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. I'm reading on page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Sabbath candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is no end to the flames, we see no more, and we are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our thoughts now turn to our loved ones who have departed this earth, those of our friends and neighbors we have lost, the martyrs of people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And if you hear the name of a loved one or a friend, please rise if you are able, and we will join you in the Kaddish on page 294. In the 30 days since their passing, the Shloshim period, we remember Diane Harris Klein, Jonathan Isaacman, Maurice Bud Carey, Cipriana Estrada, Victor Zane Hollowell, Louis David Weinstein. And on their anniversaries of their passing, we remember Philip Alpern, Bessie Appel, Harry Cohen, John Eftis, Rose H. Elion, Arlene Blogren Epstein, Ida Yellen Feinberg, Ruth Levy Glasgow, Evelyn Goldstein, Jean Graff, Rose Lee Kahn, Max Katz, Olga Kohlberg, Ben Kramer, Jeffrey Scott Levy, Albert Mazel, Joseph Merkin, Harold Osborne, Robert Paul Perrell, Charlotte Romanowski, Dee Dee Rogers, Barbara C. Rosenwasser, Gilbert Jacques Roof, Phyllis Ryback, Frankie Salazar, Jay Sherwin, Herman Siegel, Cecilia Silberberg, Ann Simon, Maury Spiritus, Patricia Stroud, Javier Vargas, Jean Warren, Ethel Washer, Evelyn Wittenberg, George Yelderman, and Norman Zaltz. Please turn to page 294 and rise. Yitgadal v'yitkada shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma devrach hirite v'yamlich machute, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehe shema Rabbah nivrach le'olam u'lomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesh b'richu, Le'ela min kol berachata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'ameram b'yama v'imru, Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'immeru, Amen.
I would like to invite our president-elect to come and read the announcements.
Good Shabbos. Thank you to our Shabbat sponsors, John and Lori Rogers in memory of Dee Dee Rogers, Curtis and Jacqueline Spear in memory of Pat Stroud, Bob and Jane Snow in memory of George Yelderman, Louis and Laura Alpern in memory of Philip Alpern, and Richard and Susan Glass in memory of Ann Simon. Temple Religious School starts this Sunday, August 13th at 9:30 a.m. The Society for Crypto-Judaic Studies is holding their 33rd annual conference here in El Paso this weekend, August 13th through 15th. Registration is now closed for this conference. The High Holiday Cooking class will be held Saturday, August 19th. Space is limited. Please see the weekly email to RSVP. The El Paso Holocaust Museum's Tour de Tolerance event is next Sunday, August 20th at 7 a.m. The Temple Sisterhood is putting together a team, and there's more information about that in the weekly bulletin. Sunday, August 20th, Hadassah is holding a Better Health with Better Jokes event here at Temple at 2 in the afternoon. Registration information is in your weekly bulletin. The new Slichot prayer book plaque dedications are available for purchase, and if you'd like to plaque a prayer book, please see the weekly email for more details. I'd like to thank Sebastian, Ellen, Mindy, and Larry for a beautiful and meaningful service. I'd like to thank our Bima guests, Dan Leeser and Alan Krasny, and I'd like to thank our greeter, Valerie Gluck. You can find Zoom login information in the weekly Temple email, as well as any additional information about many of the upcoming events. Again, thank you for joining us, and Shabbat Shalom.
After services, please join us in Zolanka for Kiddush. Please rise and sing with us, Avenu Shalom Aleichem.
Hevenu shalom alechem, Hevenu shalom alechem, Hevenu shalom alechem, Hevenu shalom, shalom
Shalom Alechem. Heivenu Shalom Alechem. Heivenu Shalom Alechem. Heivenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Alechem. Shabbat
Shabbat shalom.
I do too.
Shabbat shalom.
What is this?
Shabbat Shalom.
Just to update our campaign
Oh,
materials and pictures.
of what? Action pictures?
Send to you. How about
Okay.
Sebastian? We go up there with me. And Elsa.
Where do you need us?
Just like sort of in front of the ark, maybe?
Pretend like we're praying.
Pretend.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to do it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, Ellen, can we take a picture real quick? Please. Pretend like we were just singing Heivenu Shalom Alechem.
1, 2, 3.
Shalom Alechem.
Here comes Larry.
Great. Did that work?
I'll take some in there too.
Okay.
Hi. This is everything.